while she could never have contemplated the choice her friend made, understood her sentiments. Eager to preserve Charlotte's friendship, despite what she felt was a desperate mistake, Elizabeth had wished her friend all the happiness in the world and kept her own counsel. In return, Charlotte accepted it and maintained the fiction, for her friend knew her well enough to understand Elizabeth's opinion. Thus the matter should have ended. Elizabeth would trouble herself no more, for she was not made for melancholy. Mr. Collins had proposed, and she had rejected him. Her father supported her, and thus the matter was closed. It might have been closed had her mother been anyone other than who she was.
"Oh, to think that I must give way to Charlotte Lucas of all women! How shall I bear the shame, and because of my daughter's irrational insistence on having her way?"
On and on Mrs. Bennet lamented, accusing Elizabeth of being unnatural, disobedient, disobliging, and any other adjective she could conceive that described her anger. Elizabeth could not go into a room without her mother raising the subject, could not partake of a simple meal without her mother's condemnation, and even dreamed of her mother's voice haranguing her. Even her father became so annoyed with his wife that he told her more than once to cease her caterwauling, though his instruction produced nothing more than an injured silence and reproachful looks that would give way to her continued diatribe the moment he departed from the room. At least Mrs. Bennet did not invade Elizabeth's bedchamber, which led to her spending as much time as she could therein.
"You listen to me, Miss Lizzie," spat she frequently. "If you go about with the foolish intention of refusing every marriage proposal, you shall end an old maid."
It was not worth the ensuing aggravation to point out that refusing every proposal, should Elizabeth be so fortunate as to receive more than one, could end in no other way. Thus her mother's statement was nonsensical. "I have received only one proposal," said Elizabeth calmly, knowing her even tone further infuriated her mother.
"And you shall never receive another," accused Mrs. Bennet.
"In this, mamma," replied Elizabeth, still unconcerned, "you appear to espouse the same opinion as Mr. Collins, for he informed me of that himself."
"He is correct. Then where will you be? You must shift for yourself, for I will retain neither the resources nor the inclination to keep you myself."
"And I would not endure this for another minute if I had a choice," muttered Elizabeth. It was thus, a few nights before the Gardiners, the Bennet's family from London, were to arrive for their annual Christmas visit, Jane found Elizabeth in her bedroom. Of late, the room had been her refuge from her mother's shrill voice, and Elizabeth made good use of it. On that evening, however, it was near the time to retire, and Elizabeth had been engaged in staring at her reflection in the mirror, contemplating all that had happened these past months. Jane's presence was welcome, leading to Elizabeth pushing her contemplations aside in favour of her most beloved sister. "Lizzie," said Jane in greeting in her usual quiet tone, "I'm gratified you are still awake, for I wished to discuss something with you." "Oh?" asked Elizabeth, arching a brow at her sister. "I hope Mamma has not drafted you to her way of thinking and sent you to berate me in her stead." "Even had I agreed with Mamma," replied Jane, "I cannot imagine I would have scolded you for refusing Mr. Collins." Elizabeth agreed, grasping her sister's hand, a sign of affection. "If I am at all honest, I must confess that Mamma has surprised me. That she can hold a grudge better than any of us is beyond doubt, but she has been positively indefatigable. I might have expected her to retreat to her bedchamber to nurse her poor nerves in private." "I might have thought the same." Jane paused for a long moment, her glances at Elizabeth suggesting she had something to say but was not certain how to say it. Or perhaps she knew what she wished to say but could not predict Elizabeth's response. To reassure her sister, Elizabeth favoured her with a wide smile, which Jane did not hesitate to return. This appeared to break Jane's indecision, for she spoke at once. "Lizzie, I know you suggested I should go to London when Aunt and Uncle return, but I wonder if it would not be better if you went in my stead."